a little bit of business, but we also have a recognition that we are very excited about here today. So, but is anybody here from Scouts or from any school projects or anything at all? I doubt it because it's summertime, but we are always grateful that they would show up and take time to be here. So we'll have an invocation today from Councilman Sorensen and a pledge by Councilman Miller. That would be okay, so we'll start with that. So, Chris?
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we can assemble today as a city council of citizens to be able to discuss some of the needs and concerns of our good city. Pray that any decisions we make will be based on the best interest of our citizens and the overall living in Springville. And we're grateful for the many blessings we have and pray that we'll have a good evening tonight with our council meeting. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me in reciting the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need a motion to approve the meeting's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the meeting's agenda as written.
Yeah, second?
I'll second.
Okay, those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Well, it was a fight between these two.
I stopped.
We excused Councilman Snelson. Some of you may be aware he was involved in an accident this morning. He's a great cyclist. He enjoys getting out on his bike. And he was around Maple Mountain High School and was hit by a student that was going to something early in the morning this morning at 6. So if you just kind of remember him in your prayers, he's in the hospital. To tell you basically what happened is he broke a number of bones, but he's in awfully good spirits. He was conscious enough and level-headed enough, if you know him, that the poor girl that had hit him was quite frantic, and he calmly just said, "Well, just call 911." And so they did and got him over there. But he broke a number of ribs and kneecap and a few other things. So, but he said to me, he was in very good spirits this afternoon. He was quite excited. He said, "You know what? I get a new bike out of this." It's amazing what drugs will do to you. You know, you just forget all the pain. So if you just remember in your prayers, and I hope I didn't speak out of school with him. So. Okay, we also would encourage anyone who would like to make public comment. We have someone here who is going to make a public comment. If you have an interest in doing that, we just encourage you to go over to Kim Crane, and she can give you a chance to have a form to fill out. And you're welcome to make a comment to the city. We can't make any motions or any actions, but we'd love to hear your comments, and we do appreciate it a great deal. Just to go through the calendar very quickly, on the 24th, which is on Monday, we'll have our Pioneer Day celebration. August 1st will be a regular work session and a work study session and a regular meeting. And then on August 8th will just be a regular work study meeting at 5:30. So, great. Well, this is a fun opportunity, and I'd like to turn the time over to John Penrod, if he'd take a moment. We'd just like to recognize the Springville High School 2023 state champions, and we appreciate them being here and look forward to this opportunity to honor them. So, John?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This year we have quite a few state champions coming from Springville High School. We have at least 12, and so that's a big number. And Walker Deedy finally made it, so a boy is here tonight. So that's a little bit different from the last few years, so it's good to have him here. The Valettis couldn't make it tonight. They were ready to come, but they are very close to Mr. Curtis, and they're doing some other things tonight. So first off, though, I would like to introduce Coach Sam Smith and then have her introduce her team. We are so lucky to have Coach Sam Smith with us here in Springville. I just want to go through some things, and I'm sure I'm not even hitting on all of them. But in the record books, she is the first in history to win 5 straight 5A Utah State Cross Country Championships as a coach. She's top 5 in all-time consecutive Utah State Championships by a girls cross-country coach. In the year 2020 through 21, she was named Coach of the Year for cross-country. She has the most state championships by any coach at Springville High. She has at least 8. She has 5 in girls cross-country, 1 in boys cross-country, 1 boys and girls track and field overall, and then boys track and field. So hopefully I got all that right. But she is the best coach, really, in the history of Springville when it comes to state championships. She also has several national rankings, and then she's helped a number of runners, including my nephew, obtain college scholarships. So she's done a ton for our community, and I'll turn the time over to her to introduce the cross country and also the track and field state champions. Coach Sam.
Thank you. That was really kind. I appreciate that. Some of those I didn't know. So I wanted to start with track first, and then I'll talk about cross country in a minute. We had 2 state champions this year, and I'm sure you guys are aware. We haven't had a track this season, which makes track and field really difficult to practice, but specifically for these 2 events. So we have Sydney Watson. Right here, come on up. I'll talk about you first. Sydney is a 2-time state champion in the 300 hurdles, and she is one of the grittiest athletes I know. As you can imagine, not having a track, practicing hurdles can be really challenging, getting your steps down and all those things. Fortunately, we were able to go to other locations to practice, but it wasn't ideal, and Sydney was super consistent at coming. Sydney is also kind of a daredevil a little bit. She likes to live on the edge. And with hurdles, it's kind of a fine line. You're playing with fire because you try to get as close to the hurdle as possible while still clearing it. And I'm sure she's got a few battle wounds she could show you from when she's crossed that line a couple times. Thinking back on this year specifically, she just graduated. She competed at the state meet, which is multiple days, and she had a full schedule. She was competing in 4 events, and so she was very busy, and I remember in the 100-meter finals, she was pushing that envelope. She was pushing really hard because she wanted to win. She wanted to win really, really bad. And I can't remember what hurdle it was, but it was close to the end, and she clipped it, and she fell, and ended up getting up and still placing, but was disappointed. And in a lot of athletes that I've coached over the years, that would have broken them. They would have been done. They wouldn't have wanted. They wouldn't have been able to show up and compete at their best for multiple events. Sydney is not a traditional athlete. She's extraordinary, and so she was able to go back again, take some time, express some anger, and then get back on the track. And so just a couple hours later, she competed in the 300 hurdles, and it was like she was there with a fiery vengeance that she was going to show everybody that she was the best in the state. And she did. She beat everybody by quite a bit. She broke our school record and was 0.04 of a second off of breaking the state record. So just an incredible athlete, super excited to see what she can do. She's competing at UVU this next year and is going to do great things. So this is Sydney. Okay, yeah.
Can I come down?
Okay, the next athlete I'd like to talk about is also a two-time state champion. It's Walker Deedy. Walker, you want to come on up? So Walker is a man of many words. Those of you that know him can attest to this. He's a man of many words. But he is one of the most dedicated and diligent athletes that I've had the opportunity to work with. I do want to take a minute. I should have said this for Sydney as well. I'm super grateful for my event coaches that really worked with Walker and Sydney. So Taylor Walentine is our hurdles coach. She's also a Springville alumni. which has been great. And then Spencer Quinto is Walker's coach for throws, specifically javelin. Walker won state last year and then went into this year being the favorite, but he definitely kept things exciting. I remember, so in all classifications, he would have broken the school record except for 5A, because 5A's classification for javelin is just really competitive and had a really, really far throw. And so that means 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 6A, he's broken their school records. So incredible athlete. And I remember when he broke 200 feet, which isn't very common, it was at the Tiger Trials Invite, right? Yeah. And I remember the Orem High coach talked to me about it afterwards, and he was like, as I was flagging and marking and mowing the area, I thought 200 feet would be sufficient. And so I was like, I don't need to go any further. Nobody's going to throw over 200 feet today. And Walker, I don't think he even knew that conversation took place, but you definitely proved him wrong. And just is, again, an incredible athlete, very driven and determined. There's been many hours that I've seen him spend with his dad going over technique. And I'm super excited to see him compete. He's going to be competing at Utah State. So congratulations, Walker. Okay, and then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about cross country. So this was our 5th year winning in a row, and it was kind of an interesting year. So after we won our last state title last year, we were pretty excited. We were pretty jazzed because we had all 7 of our athletes coming back, and felt like, I didn't want to say that it was going to be easy, but definitely felt confident that we were going to be in contention for the title again this year. And we went into this season being ranked number 1 preseason, which is always exciting, but also really stressful. And then it seemed like everything that could have gone wrong this season kind of did. We had multiple health issues, whether it was injuries or just illnesses or other things going on. And so by the time state came around, we actually had only run with our actual 7 returning runners once at divisionals, and that was the week before. And so going into state was a little stressful because we didn't really, we knew what we were capable of, but we also didn't know what to expect. And to be honest, everybody kind of had ruled us out. Most of the other teams didn't even think we were in the top 3. And so the night before the meet, we got together. We had dinner together like we do every year. It's a tradition of ours with just the girls. And talked about strategy, our goals, things that we wanted to accomplish. And every year we kind of reflect on the season as a whole, and then also what we want to focus on the next day, and come up with kind of a motto or a mantra. And one of the girls came up with the mantra of overcome, because we felt like that was just the definition of our season this year, where, again, we had so many injuries and illnesses, it was really hard to even know what to expect. And that's exactly what they did the next day. So the next day they started, and again, we had a variety of things going on. We had a couple girls that we knew were hurt, but we didn't know how bad they were hurt when they towed the line, and they gave it their all. We had a couple girls that were sick, that we had no idea really the nature of the illnesses that they were experiencing until, some of them we didn't even know until the spring, some of the deficiencies that they were dealing with. And so the fact that they were able to do the incredible things that they did is just a tribute to their character and their just determination. And we ended up winning by 5 points, which in cross country is really small. Okay, that's like 2 people. And in fact, we didn't win it. We didn't cinch it until the last 200 meters of the race, because our 5th man with 200 meters to go ended up passing, I think, 3 people, and that's what did it for us. So we don't have all our team here tonight just because some of them are at girls camp, some of them are out of town and some of them had to work. But we do have a couple here, so I want to recognize them. So we have Emily Sumption, come on down, Addie Orendorf, and Brianna Young. And I'm super lucky because all of 3 of these girls are returning and they'll be competing this fall. So hopefully we'll get another one. That's all. Thank you.
That was pretty amazing. We have one more athlete here, Britta. Is that right? Back there in the back corner. And her coach, Coach Templeman, couldn't be here. And so I know a little bit, but I might have to have her kind of express a little bit more. But her and her doubles partner, Nadia Templeman, they went into state ranked number 7. And they ended up beating the number 1 seed for the state championship. So that's pretty cool. But I'll let her.
During the season, me and Nadia, we got paired up and instantly we started playing really good together. And at the region tournament, we destroyed everyone. We got first for our second doubles position. So going into state, we were super excited. We didn't really know what to expect. Honestly, we both didn't think we'd win state, but when we were in the quarterfinals, we were like, wow, we really have a chance. And so then we really had that drive. And the match was super fun. We split sets, and then the last set was super intense, and it was a thrill. And Nadia was best doubles partner, and couldn't have done it without Coach Greg. He was awesome, and so yeah, it was a great season.
That is something I forgot to say. This is the first tennis state championship in Springville history that we've
Oh, wow.
Well, I speak for myself and also for the whole city. We're just so very, very proud of our youth and for what they do, and we really admire them and their accomplishment. It just speaks very highly of who they are and the drive and ambition that they have to accomplish great things. I know a couple of the athletes, and they're just remarkable individuals, and I'm very grateful for not only being good athletes, but being good people. And that will speak well for them all through their life. And so I'm very grateful for the example they set for everyone else. And there's lots of people that look up to these champions. And you're on a pedestal, whether you want to be or not. People look up to you. And I just encourage you to set a good example like you're doing and have the determination. And we're so grateful for the coaches, for the time they take and the patience they have and the determination they kind of get in the kids, and it's a great thing. So I just really express appreciation for the whole city. Thank you. Okay, I just soon end the meeting. Can we just end the meeting right here? This is the best part. Yeah, you can make a motion and we're all done. So that's great. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And keep it up. We'll see you next year, right? Okay, we have Fabian Wells who would like to make a presentation. There we go. Okay, very good. Okay, we'll bring him up and we're good.
Good evening.
We have candy up here for him, but we know what candy would do for them.
Huh. More than this.
Yeah.
No candy. So I noticed that the field by the Jefferson Center just became up for sale. And I thought it might be a good idea to turn that into a city park. Because in that area there's a lot of small children, especially that age and a few years older. And the closest park is over a mile away. The closest park used to be, I think, the one behind the high school, but they just closed that off for construction. So now it's Memorial Park. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So that's the closest one with a playground anyways. I mean, there's Conover Park and Cola Park, but they're just a big field.
right. Right. Wonderful. And you've given us some information here. Oh, this is for everybody here. I'll pass this out, and this will be a great discussion for us, and we'll certainly take it under consideration. So thank you very
Are they
much.
selling Jefferson? Is that what I understand?
Or is it just, it's just the field?
Or just the field?
Yeah. It's like 1.3 acres, I think.
Yeah, we used to play soccer on that field.
Yeah, we've talked to them about that in the past, but it's been distant past, probably about 10 years ago, last time we talked.
Cool. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I drive by there 2 or 3 times a day, and it didn't even dawn on me. So, yeah,
No, it just happened last week, so.
yeah, that's
Really?
great. All right,
I appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a couple items on our consent agenda, item 4, 5, and 6. Are there any questions in relationship to any items on the consent agenda?
I motion that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Okay, a second.
I'll second it.
Those in favor? Oops, roll call vote. Mr. Jensen?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Crandall?
Yes.
Great. Okay, Brad is not here. Who's taking his spot for? Okay, Jeff, I'll turn the time over to you for a consideration of a quitclaim deed.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let me get that up real quick. All right. As you're aware, UDOT is pursuing the construction of the 1600 South interchange and widening of 1600 South. They're starting a phase 1, which is going to be the basically getting ready for the on-off ramps and the realignment of the frontage road. So, forgive the cluttered nature of this. This is kind of the signing and striping sheet, but it shows that the frontage road is now going to come down, take a hard 90 east and connect into 1750 west right there. It's the consideration of property right there that we're here to discuss tonight. So like I said, the frontage road is realigned there. There is a billboard on the Ertley property just south of there, adjacent to the I-15, that UDOT needs to relocate due to the on-off ramps. So they're proposing to relocate it to the north. What they've done is they've bought this area shaded in yellow. They purchased it from the Barlow's property, about 6.5 acres. The frontage road will be given to the city, shown in red. The green right there is the remainder piece, just that corner clip as it comes around it makes that hard 90 there. And that's where they're proposing to realign or relocate that billboard. And then the remainder is shown in yellow. The billboard parcel has been placed in Springville City's name. They've given us the frontage road property and that corner, and now, kind of with a gentleman's agreement, they've asked the city to then quit claim deed that to the Earthlies so they can then relocate the billboard. So that is what's being brought to you. There's the size of it. It's all of about 4,000 square feet in total. That kind of shows the location hatched in blue. We've been working with UDOT. This helps get the first bid package out, gets everything relocated and the property transactions in place so they can start bringing in fill and starting the relocation of that frontage road. So,
Just a quick comment on this. I believe, and Josh can correct me, but when the Barlow parcel was all one parcel, that's when they got the vesting right to put the billboard on it. The smaller parcel would not allow for a billboard, but because a government entity is stepping in and putting a road in there, then since it's vested, it can stay there. I just want to make that clear.
Okay, questions for Jeff? I assume that this is just part of the process that we all go through. This is one of 4 billboards that we have to deal with?
5, actually, yeah.
5.
So 1 of 5 billboards, and really the reason that UDOT's asking for the help from Springville City on that, they could have done it all through their own processes, but it would have taken them several months longer. That's the efforts in speeding out their bidding package.
Okay, any questions on this? All right, then I'll entertain a motion for approval of the quit claim deed.
I'll make a motion to approve a quit claim deed for UDOT acquired property placed in Springville City's name to RCO2 LLC to facilitate the relocation of an existing billboard as part of UDOT's 1600 South widening project.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, great. Okay, Carla, you're on, number 8.
All right, this is just pretty much a housekeeping issue. When the Main Street South Gateway Zone was adopted back in 2020, it was codified with the specifics outlined in Article 7. However, in the list that we have in and the definitions or the descriptions in Articles 101 and 102, the Main Street South Gateway Zone was just left out. This is just to kind of clean that up, put that in there so that it remains consistent. And as Josh would call it, it's one of my nitpicky amendments because I'm a little OCD. But this is just makes that a little bit cleaner to make sure that all of the zones are listed in 101 with a description as well as in 102.
Okay, any questions for Carla? You had a chance to go through this.
It's
It's
very
really just
straightforward.
housekeeping.
There really wasn't any discussion at the planning commission level about it or any public comment.
Okay,
Nothing.
questions for Carla? Okay, I'll entertain a motion then for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 13-2023, amending Springville City Code Title 11, Chapter 4, Article 101, Establishment of Zoning, and Title 11, Chapter 4, Article 102, Purpose of zoning districts to include the Main Street South Gateway, MSSG zone.
Okay, have a motion, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a roll call vote. Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Crandall,
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen,
Yes.
Mr. Jensen.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. John, you're on for a purchase agreement.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. This item is coming before you is an item that was actually started by Mr. Brad Neal when he was with the city, but we're dealing with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and when it comes to property, sometimes they move kind of slowly. So we are here tonight What we're looking at is property that's in Kelly's Grove. You can see the entrance to Kelly's Grove over in this location, the top left of your screen, the golf course to the left. As you come in, you come down into this location, and there's a pavilion there that we've called the Church Pavilion because it was put in with the Kolob stake of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints several decades ago. And what we're looking at tonight is this property outlined in red. So the city owns all the property around the property in red, and the city is currently utilizing a parking lot that's on the red property. And so we've went to the church and asked the church if we could purchase the property, and that's what we're here for tonight. The property is 0.90 acres. The price in the agreement's $108,000. Both the church and the city have had appraisals done of this property, and that is the appraised price. I just wanted to show you kind of what the makeup of the property looks like. And so you can see there's roughly almost 0.29 acres of flat property that's right there by the parking lot, and then it extends over to the creek. You can see where the creek is right here. It's a beautiful piece down below. There is a hill in between as you come up, but then there's some flat property up on top, and that is also adjacent to more city property. And so this has been discussed in the past, and it has been discussed that this would be a good move for the city to make to purchase this property at appraised value of $108,000.
Okay, questions for John?
Just one clarification, just because I know Bruce doesn't like it when we go forward with a contract and then we have to come back and we have to change the budget in the future. I just want to make that clear.
So we'll have to go find some money to pay for it.
I think we have the money. We're just going to have to
open up the budget to pay for it.
Yes.
Bruce is not smiling, so.
Yes, I know.
So, John, it would be good for us to have so that we would have parking for the parks for.
Not just,
I mean,
not just parking for the parks, but this
Yeah, for the
pavilion's
park.
parking lot goes into this property. But it also, too, we own all the property around us, so it opens up an opportunity for the city to do more with its property and also utilize a beautiful flat area. And if we were to do something now in this flat area, we'd technically be building on somebody else's property.
So does the church own the pavilion now? They don't, do they?
They
That's what I
don't.
was going to say, because we rent it. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So if you remember, we've worked with the property owner here. He's
Remember
actually
you wanted that.
been taking care of property up to about this area for decades, about half a century. That the family has been, and so we worked with them to kind of straighten out some boundary lines. Originally, the creek, as you can see that this, the creek's right here. The way that they plotted this was a little bit different. The creek was in a different location at that time, and so we worked with that property owner to help them with their property. They purchased some property from the city. What this does, I'm kind of getting off point, but what this does is helps us to do more with our property.
So the church doesn't have anything in there anymore.
No, right now this property is in the church's name, but as we've gone through this process and done some title work, it's actually our property.
Wow.
And so we just need to finalize some more title work to get the county to switch it into our name. But the church is working with us on that.
Okay. Nothing else? I'll entertain a motion. Or no motion.
I'll motion to approve the purchase of the sale agreement regarding the city's purchase of property from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, identified by parcel number 44003-0013, located on Hollow Creek Road in Kelly's Grove.
Okay, I have a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, do we have an item?
Yeah, we do have one closed session item. Do you have more? I have a quick property item. If you're inclined to listen to it, it should be very short.
Okay. All right, I need a motion then for, yes.
Sorry, were we going to discuss?
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you bringing that up. In the meeting before, we talked a little bit about the high school road and kind of some options to be able to slow the traffic, or at least make the traffic a little bit more pedestrian friendly, for lack of a better term. And Jeff was good enough to present to us 3 options. And I wanted each of the council people to have a chance to kind of think about that before they told me what direction they wanted the city to go. So Chris, I'll start with you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I like Jeff's first proposal. I don't like the idea of the further down the road angle thing. I don't think that's going to slow it down. That's just like the roundabout going north anyway. They go through there 35, 40, going along 13th East. I don't see that being that much different there. I think we need to try something at that intersection. I think that proposal looks really, really good, and I'm nervous though about going all in without at least having some discussion with the transportation department at Nebo School District to see if that would really make a large impact on bus routes. I don't think there's that many that actually go that way, and they probably could go further up 9th South and come up Hunters Valley Road if there are that many. But it is a direct route from the high school to the junior high, and I'm not sure, but I would believe there's buses that bring in from some places, drop off at the high school, and then go to the junior high. So if it's a bunch, we probably would need to think about that. But I would, especially with the fact that we can get the materials, I would rather find that out and get it in a week or 2 after school starts than to put it in and find out that the buses, that it just destroys what they do. I think it's going to be safe.
Councilmember, if the rest of the council members are in agreement to put that in, we'd be happy to get the materials on order and coordinate with the bus department and make sure they're comfortable with it, just so we can keep the process moving. And if there's a concern or something we need to bring back to you, we can do that.
I like that, the full thing that Jeff proposed with the narrowing and the mini roundabout, because we're talking about lives here, and I think if it's a little inconvenient, it's worth it. And I think how it will really enhance that light that's there. And there was one other thought. I just think we need to slow it down there, and I don't think we're going to slow it down without that mini roundabout. And if it doesn't work, then we tried. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, very good. Jason?
No, I'd agree with Chris. I think we had to get the materials ordered up and go for it. It's a little scary thinking about Red Devil Drive not having a stop sign. People trying to it's already, tough to get on during school hours or right before school starts, but especially if it was a big bus or something right there at the entrance or trying to get on to Canyon. But yeah, I think it's reasonable option, so I'm glad Jeff looked into it.
And you're comfortable with this, checking with the bus department?
I think that's a good idea. I think it'd be wise.
Okay.
I agree. I think it's the value. Heck, good job on the pricing. I mean, under $25,000. Is that what is Jeff?
Yeah.
20 grand. So, yeah, I think it's definitely money well spent.
Could it become a permanent thing? I mean, there's.
Well, permanently, we may redo that entire intersection.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, could you use that if you wanted to ultimately, or put it somewhere else and use that as a, right, but not the equipment itself.
Oh, well, yeah, even some of the tack-down stuff potentially could be.
It could be used, and we could go do some temporary elsewhere. We could do it as a trail.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be money lost.
Right. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Liz?
Okay, I agree as well. And I would also just like to add appropriate signage. And I know that we talked about it in our other meetings, so just kind of letting people know why it's there, and then and coordinating with the bus department. And yeah, I agree. I am so happy that we are trying something, and we'll see how it goes. So
Okay.
I hope and pray it will go as
Mayor,
planned.
can I
So
make
thank
one
you.
more comment?
Yeah,
I'm
please.
sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to cut this.
that's okay.
When we did the one down by West Side School, there are people who, for some reason, feel like they know more than the safety engineers and studies across the country, and saying that doesn't work as well. I think some kind of PR from you as the mayor, some podcast, something, because there will be people that say you're making it worse. There will be people that say you're really putting them in danger now by narrowing it down. We know from the studies and everything that it really does make it safer because it wakes people up. But this is going to need an equal PR push besides the implementation of the materials push. I think that's just as critical.
And I think some of our internal conversation, I think there is some additional risk, particularly to the vehicular traffic, right? There's new traffic motion happening there. And so you're going to have cars doing things that they're not used to. You've all identified yield versus stop and other things. And it took a while for the roundabout to kind of calm back down. So using that experience, we'll do everything we can to make people aware of that. And that's one of the reasons we'd love to get it in as soon as possible, is so that the cars can navigate it, hopefully for a few days before school gets started.
So Troy, can you help me? I think that's a great suggestion. Maybe Jeff and I can get on a podcast that we do with Jack. Can you help coordinate that? And
Absolutely.
we'll kind of do something and then do what we can to get the public aware of it. So.
And sorry, just one more thing, but I mean, to what you were saying, Troy, is there a possibility too, of putting the bulb outs in ahead of time, and then when the other piece comes, because you could do the bulb, you have the cones right now, or not cones, but whatever they are, the pylons, or
we could get those.
that's something you could pick up. So I mean, you could do the bulb out, and that would start it, start the process, maybe slow people down right there, and then you can see what the kind of a partial impact was on the way, maybe.
Yeah, and we'll have signage, as Councilmember Crandall indicates. I mean, a new traffic pattern ahead and things. We'll take extra care with that.
It's really surprising. Even like same with this thing. Even with the flashers, it's just not. It just doesn't stand out. I mean, I drive that road every day now going home. Probably like several of you do, and it just. I don't know. It's easy. It doesn't.
Yeah, especially when it's been there a while, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bulb outs, even if you had colored pylons or something, just something to draw attention to the.
It's interesting. I was going to kind of just say now you get to choose the paint color. When you go look at it, several cities have tried all sorts of things, varied colors and geometric shapes and things to keep it kind of fresh and visual. So
I'm sure this is the case, but it's still just going to have the crossing across Canyon Road at one location, not on both sides.
Correct.
And at the top of Red Devil Drive, you can go north and then you can go east or west across, but not on the south end of the roundabout. We can't have two crossings there.
You're talking about keeping the pedestrian crossings in the exact
they will be in the same locations they're at now.
But there won't be a third one
third.
added.
That's
that
correct.
would be a disaster.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, and then one more thing.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yep.
So,
Nope.
Jeff, also just when you mentioned was it visual noise? Yeah, I am still a little concerned about that, where it's so close to the crosswalk and where people it just takes a while. I just don't want them to be too overstimulated. Yeah, because I don't want to, just not making people so nervous of trying to maneuver the roundabout and not even notice what it's for. Okay, thanks, Jeff, so much.
Okay, don't need a formal action on that, do we? Or is that just direction?
No, we had some discussion on that. Really, the Public Works Department by code is in charge of the roadway and making sure, but this has obviously political overtones and a lot of interest on the council, so we wanted to stay coordinated with you on what we were doing.
Okay.
So knowing that the council is comfortable moving forward unanimously, we'll make it happen.
But Mayor could sign up by himself anyways too, couldn't he?
Well, like I said,
I know you don't need to, but I'm just saying he could anyways with.
Yeah, absolutely. We could have just gone and put it in by the authority we have, but we just wanted to make sure you were comfortable with what we were doing.
Mayor, can I ask one more question? I need to know whether it's Jeff or if it's Josh to talk to. I've been in conversation with a citizen about our decision to not apply for the kind of rebate for eliminating green space.
Right.
I've exhausted all the stuff that I know how to say, kind of explained it, and I said we have people on staff that I don't know, is that Josh?
Brad. It's
or is it-
Brad.
is it-
Brad was the one that made the presentation to us. I'm sure Josh could do it.
Josh, I'll give you afterwards her name and you can talk. She's very nice. It's not like a big argument or anything.
No,
it's just,
I've had a number of them just email me, and once they understand what the what the situation is and as far as the city
I
goes.
didn't know all the facts about what implications there were across the city in perpetuity, and I don't want to say it wrong.
Right.
So.
Yep. Okay, very good. All right, thank you. All right, I need a motion then for closed session.
Property or property?
Property.
I motion we go into closed session for discussions on property and then end the meeting thereafter.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll
Second. Those in favor say aye. Oh, roll call, sorry. Chris?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Jump the gun.
I did. Couldn't remember my name. Craig, yeah. No,
What's your name?
Josh, I will